Hey everybody, it's Master Gallengeist here, bringing you my review of the series premiere episode of Doctor Who, The Woman Who Fell to Earth. And I quite enjoyed this one. I'm not that deep into Doctor Who. I mean, I've seen certain episodes of, Eccleston, like Tennant, and Matt Smith, and, Peter Capaldi. I usually tended to prefer, like, Matt Smith's Doctor, just because he was kind of crazy, zany, and then like switch like that to like a serious, do not mess with this kind of dude kind of thing going on. So I was like, okay, let's kind of see what's going on with this one. And this episode starts out, we see this guy doing this YouTube video talking about like this woman. And it's like, okay, that's kind of interesting, and we just don't get back to it until the end. I didn't mind it starting off that way. It's just like, okay, is you don't get its importance until the end of the episode. And we get more information on this character. He's evidently trying to ride a bike, and we find out later on that he has some kind of coordination disorder, and he's like 19 years old. His grandmother and his step-grandfather are trying to help him ride this bike, but he's getting frustrated with it and decides to toss the bike over the cliff. And they're like, all right, meet us back, go down there, get your bike, and meet us back at the train. So he goes down, and he sees it, and the train's like, crap, all right. And then, out of nowhere, we see these lights and everything, and I'm sorry, him, like a dumbass, goes up and touches it. Okay? Whenever you see kind of weird shit like that, you be like, I'm almost like, how will this kill me first? But he's like, oh, okay. And he touches it. Things start happening, and this, okay, I guess this is how I'll describe it. A giant blue Hershey kiss appears that we evidently learn later on is cold, like freezing enough to kind of burn. He's like, what the hell? So he does the reasonable thing and calls the police. And then switch over to this police officer woman who's trying to mediate a parking dispute. And it was kind of funny because evidently the woman was like, she bashed in my mirror, my windshield with a hammer. And you're like, yeah. I'm like, but the other woman like keyed her car because of parking space disputes. And she's like, all right, listen, how about this? You pay for the windshield, you pay for the car door, and we just frickin' don't escalate this any further. I mean, we're grown-ups, for Christ's sake. Act like it. I'm like, yes. So she calls in. She wants to be proven, wants other things to prove her worth and everything. She's like in her second year of probation as a police officer. She wants to be given something more. He's like, all right, here you go. Of course, he sends her out to giant blue Hershey kiss. So they get together, and we see that his name's Ryan. Hers is Yaz. They went to school together. Oh yeah, it's like a factory worker and everything. She's like, oh, police officer, trying to figure out everything going on. And I'm like, okay, yeah, there's this thing. That's about it. He, of course, then gets a call from his grandmother because at this point going on there in the train, and something smashes into the train and stops it. And they're kind of freaked out, so they go off to investigate. We see that the step-grandfather Graham and his grandmother Grace and this other kind of dude are in the train, and everybody's pretty much gotten out, the doors are locked. We see this thing coming down, and we're like, oh, that's not going to be good. And as it's getting closer, it almost gets on top of them, and whew, someone falls through the top. And it's the doctor, Jodie Whittaker. And I'm like, okay. I was like, you just fell from the freaking sky. Are you okay? Like, yeah. And she tried to deal with it and everything, and it's like, it's this kind of weird electrical, tentacly fucking worm thing that's kind of like pulsating and all that. I'm like, what the hell is that thing doing? Of course, Ryan and Yaz come in at that point. It kind of freaks out, like tags the doctor, Grace, Graham, and all the kind of rest, except for the kind of worker dude, and then just kind of like goes off. And of course, the doctor's trying to figure out what's going on. She had just regenerated, and I was like, yeah, well, not like half an hour ago, I was a white-haired Scotsman. It's like, why do you keep calling me man? Oh, I'm a woman. How's that working out? She just does a very good job, and I get kind of like a reminiscent vibe of kind of like Matt Smith, with just a kind of like ball of energy, just trying to figure out what's going on. And I just really liked how she was like going through things, trying to figure out what's going on, figure out what's going on with her body and everything. And just like, okay, yeah, we gotta, okay, only person that's dead is this person, most likely from shock. All right, we gotta have to figure out what's going on. They kind of like get into the town proper, and she's like, all right, everybody try and figure out what's going on. Of course, Graham goes, I used to be a bus driver. If you ever want to know anything weird, ask bus drivers, which was kind of funny because it turns out in the end that the bus driver thing really kind of helps. And they at first, before going into the city, they tried to check up on the Blue Hershey Kiss and found out that it was gone. It's like, what the hell? We also figure out that someone else had done it. He had help. He's like, yeah, thanks. And then sets up camera and watches the thing until it hatches or whatnot, or something happens with it. They're, of course, trying to figure out everything with the tentacle monster thing, and, of course, Graham goes out, finds nothing. Grace isn't able to find anything. Ryan isn't able to find anything. The doctor has then passed out at that point, though doesn't know that she's the doctor yet, still trying to remember and figure out because of the regeneration. They're taking her pulse and everything because she's on the couch, like, she's got like 2 pulses. It's kind of weird. Wakes up, they figure out that the tags are kind of DNA bombs, and she's like, all right, cool. And she's like, dang it, I don't have a screwdriver. And he formats his phone, and like, bangs, not bangs, but uses like the frequency of the DNA bomb, but it kind of like shocks her, like, yes, all right. So they try and use that to track it. But they don't track the tentacle thing, they track it to the Blue Hershey Kiss, which has then hatched, and this armored alien thing has popped out. He's like, where's my sister? He's like, ask me again. Like, where's my sister? You're never going to find out. And then freaking like does something to his face, kills him, and you hear this crack. Like, what the hell? Of course, our heroes are able to pop up at that point and see him coming out, and the doctor's like, hey, you stop. He's like, I ain't listening to you. Kind of runs off. They try and run off after him. Why did it track it here instead of the tentacle thing? They get inside, see that the dude's dead, and oddly enough is missing a tooth. Like, why would you kill someone and take a tooth? Strange. They examine the remnants of the blue giant Hershey Kiss and find out that there's like a teleporter kind of thing in it. So they're kind of searching around. The dude who had taken the kiss had his sister abducted when they were younger, and was trying to find out what was going on with her. Everybody said he was crazy and that she just disappeared or whatnot, and that's why he did what he did. It's like, wow, it really sucks. They bring this information. We see that the doctor decided to build her own sonic screwdriver, which was a pretty cool scene because it shows what the doctor can do on the fly, and it was just kind of funny. It was like, okay, spoons. All right, what are you going to do with spoons? Oh, you're going to take this giant thing, melt it down, and then kind of just configure everything, and we're like, yeah, all right, got this. All right, it can do a lot of kind of stuff. It's more accurate to kind of call it more of a kind of Swiss Army knife kind of thing, except it doesn't have a knife. Okay, but they figure out that there's a mechanism in what was the remnants of the Hershey Kiss to kind of teleport the alien creature back home. And, of course, it's around that point that Graham gets a call from his buddy, and they're able to find the giant tentacle thing. They have built an apparatus, they shock it, and it's more of like a biotech thing. It's like, oh, okay, we got this. And that's, of course, when the alien creature shows up, and we get the information that it's essentially a Predator scenario. And he takes off the mask, and we find out that the trophies that they collect are teeth, and put them in their face. It was freaking weird. I'm like, okay, that's really weird, and really a dick move. So, he's pretty much doing this because one of the humans, the guy that didn't come with them, has been tagged, and if he catches this quarry, he then becomes the leader of his people. But evidently, he's not supposed to have any help, hence the techno ball, and the Doctor tries to intimidate him, but they're trying to figure out what he can use if he can't use tech, and it's how cold his species is. He can freeze with his hand. We've seen him kill another kind of dude who was throwing salad at him. Yeah, it was kind of strange. But he froze him, took it, and I don't know why you would put teeth in your face. And not even like in your mouth. It's like in your face. Creepy. But he gets through, he gets the ball, kind of teleports, and is going on his hunt. They're able to figure out the location of the dude, works at this place as a crane operator, and they kind of set the stage for what's going on. The Doctor is getting close to kind of like realizing who they are, but that gets a little bit later into what's going on. She gets Graham and Grace to evacuate the place, and they are going to climb up onto the other crane to try and get the guy over to him and try and save him. However, the alien guy, who the Doctor calls Tim Shaw, just because that's what his name sounds like, is climbing up the other dude's crane. So they're able to kind of get everything in position, but not into exact position, and the dude's crawling out there, and he's like, alright, yeah, I can do this. And he's about to jump over, but the guy gets him, so the Doctor's got to jump over herself, and like, oh crap, I remember that my legs used to be longer, and that was just a kind of funny moment, and kind of climbs up, and pretty much gets him into no-win scenario. He's about ready to kill the rest of the witnesses with the DNA bombs, and if he does that, she's going to drop off his only way to get home. So he activates it, but it was like teleported back. The Doctor teleported it back into like the technical ball thingy, and Grace and Graham actually came back to kind of take out the electro ball. And this is kind of like destroying the dude, and she kind of like tosses at him and tells him to leave, and the one dude like kicked him off, and she's like, you didn't need to do that. That was uncalled for kind of thing. But he teleports away at the last second. And we find out in the conversation that was going on that these trophies are not killed. They're put in a state of suspended death, pretty much. So that could mean that the dude that we'd seen killed earlier, his sister could still be alive. And during that confrontation, like, who are you? And he's like, I'm the Doctor. And I was like, yeah, alright, that was a pretty cool moment. However, we get some tragedy in that Grace died shocking and killing the techno ball thing, and we kind of see the after effects of that. We see Graham talking about her at the funeral and everything. Ryan, we see that his YouTube video was dedicated to his grandmother. He had lost his mother previously, and his father didn't show up to the funeral for his grandmother. And kind of talking about that with the Doctor, because in the beginning, bug going on. I didn't really feel any kind of really connection to any of the characters. Ryan and Yasmin would have been the kind of biggest ones, but I was really interested in seeing what they were going to do with the Doctor, and I'm like, yeah, she's doing pretty good. So we didn't get more information. Graham had evidently had cancer, and that's how he met Grace, and they've been married for 3 years, and he was really sad that she was dead, and wanted more time with her. And Ryan's just trying to do his thing. We see him riding the bike after his grandmother's death to try and get it down. And eventually she's like, oh god, I need to get my TARDIS. It like blew up, and I gotta try and figure out where it is, energy signals and all that stuff. And they try and help her out. They get her new clothes, and they get to the transportation machine from Tim Shaw, and they've got it all jury-rigged. She's like, oh, see you guys later. And she thinks it's only going to teleport her, but it teleports her, Graham, Ryan, and Yasmin. And it ends the episode with them floating in space. It's like, and I don't mean like floating in just like a room in its space, but in outer space. It's like, that's not good, because they had homed in on like the TARDIS energy, so we'll have to see kind of what happens there. But I really enjoyed this. I mean, the monster kind of thing, I was like, okay, Predator kind of thing, kind of worked out. We thought it was like two aliens at first fighting each other, but it was just one. It was a good enough setup to showcase the real part of the episode, introducing Jodie Whittaker as the Doctor, and I really kind of like her. she's got a fun kind of energy. She's got some really kind of funny timing and just really kind of the way she says and does things and how she tries to figure things out and try and solve problems. Seems pretty good. So I think we can have a pretty good run with seeing how she tries to like get through situations and what her take on the Doctor should be. So those are my opinions on the episode. Tell me what you guys think in the comments below. If you liked it, if you didn't like it, if you agree with me, if you disagree with me. Also like and subscribe, and I hope you have a good day.